Language links also appear to exist which show similarities between words used by ancient Algonquin-speaking Indians from the northeastern part of the American continent with words used by ancient European people who are related to the Basque peoples of the France and Spain region of Europe. It should be noted that the Basque people currently occupy a place between France and Spain and are thought to have one of the most ancient languages in Europe. Based upon the similarity of words in terms of how they sound and what they mean, researchers can trace relationships and prior contacts between different groups of people. Take for example many Italian and Spanish words. The Italian aqua and Spanish agua, both mean water, and are similar in sound. This is because both come from the same word, aqua, from Latin, which is in an earlier language in the root of both Italian and Spanish. Linguistic links for word similarities appear to exist between prehistoric Europeans and early American tribes. In the 1960s, the Morris Swedish in a Handbook of Middle American Indians, claimed he found a connection between the Natin or Afro-Bascan linguistic family of North America and the Basque language. Further, and more recently, scholars have again proposed that there are language similarities between precursors of the Basque language spoken in the France, Spain region of Europe, and American Indian tribes who initially lived in the Northeast Americas and near the Great Lakes region. This was documented in an article in Migration and Diffusion in 2000 by Paula Baker Stanley in quote, "There is a relationship between the Algonquian and the Basque languages. In my opinion it is an old relationship, stemming from before the times of the coming of Indo-European language to South and Western Europe, as evidenced by the nature and form of these tongues." End quote. Last of all, Carol Ann Lisek wrote about this phenomenon in 2000 in the journal The Mammoth Trumpet, in an article entitled, "Linguistic Evidence Suggests Point of Origin for Nadine." In that article she reported on Dr. Merritt Ruland's research recently published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Mrs. Lisek reported that Dr. Ruland, in quote, was doing research on another problem, in this case the origins of the Basque language. He was looking at the 6 language families that are related to Basque, and in the process he began comparing Nadine to Yanasi and Ket. The word for birch bark is so similar in both families that it caught his attention and caused him to take a closer look at the relationship between the two families. Shared words were noted for 36 sets of words and were interpreted as pointing to a common ancestral root. It should be emphasized that the language links which exist between ancient Algonquin and Basque languages are derived from ancient dialects spoken thousands of years ago, before the arrival of Columbus in America. Thus the language similarities are not due to more recent Indian and European contact which occurred after the arrival of Columbus in 1492. Perhaps, the most important part of these language connections is that they tend to overlap with the archaeological findings which show nearly identical tools and spare point links found in Europe and the United States. Further, they also overlap with the DNA evidence which links American Indians to European peoples. These 3 lines of evidence link ancient Stone Age Europeans not only with ancient Stone Age first Americans, but the first Americans of the northeastern quadrant of North America. Taken together, it is hard to believe that such a pattern could occur by chance, and thus the most parsimonious explanation is that Stone Age Europeans were one of the first, if not the first Americans.